welcome to this morning's webinar on the 2023 AONTAS Adult Learners Festival. It's lovely to see some familiar faces there and some new faces as well. So this morning, Juliana and Kate and I will take you through how the Adult Learners Festival works, how you can get involved, and then we'll have a little bit of time at the end to discuss with each other and talk about plans. So I'm Caris Hughes, first of all. I'm the Head of Communications in AONTAS, and I'll let my colleagues introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Kate. I'm the Communications Officer at AONTAS as well.
Hiya, I'm Juliana, and I'm a Project Officer at AONTAS.
So you'll be hearing from all of us during the webinar, and if you have any questions in the meantime, please just pop them into the chat, and Kate or Juliana will look after them there. So I'm going to kick off with our presentation, which will explain a little bit about the Adult Learners Festival. So you're very welcome to fall in love with learning on this Valentine's Day. We will go through, as I said, the Adult Learners Festival, how you can get involved, and we'll be wrapping up about 11:45. We'll talk about this year's Adult Learners Festival, what happens during the festival week, event ideas, so ideas on how you can get involved, how you can submit an event to the festival calendar, the support that we in AONTAS can give you, and then we'll have breakout rooms with time for discussion, and we'll come back into the main room at the end to look at any queries or questions that you have. So for Valentine's Day, this is our profile here in AONTAS. We are a registered charity founded in 1969. We have 15 staff based in Dublin. And what AONTAS do is advocate for the rights of all adults in Ireland to quality lifelong learning. So we conduct evidence-based research to support recommendations for policy, and we really act as a collective on behalf of the adult education sector in Ireland. So that means learners, providers, anyone involved in adult education. And if you want to find out more about our work, you can visit us there at aontas.com. So the festival is a nationwide week-long festival, which aims to increase the visibility and share the value of adult education. Our core audience, as I said, is learners or prospective learners, communities, relevant organizations, and the media. So it's a really great example or great experience to get involved in and to connect with a really wide community, not only locally, but nationwide as well, because of the sort of collective aspects of the festival. So this is our 17th Adult Learners Festival. And the theme is Create Your World, and that reflects both how adult education transforms the lives of individuals by helping them to create their own world with new ideas, new confidence, new connections with others, and also how that contributes to the development of a fairer society. So Create Your World is really about creating the kind of world that you want to see through adult learning. For the festival week, we have two key events that we organize ourselves. One is called Stepping Stones and Stable Roots, which is a policy event. And what it will concentrate on is how community education can play a really key role in the development of the new unified tertiary education system. So as you may know, this system is bringing together higher ed and further ed a little closer. And we're looking at the role of community education in that. So that role, that event will be on 9:30 on Monday, 6th February. In Smithfield in Dublin, and that's kicking off the week with really looking at a really key aspect of adult education policy. Then to cap off the week, we have the Star Awards on Friday the 10th of February. So these are our awards where we spotlight adult learning initiatives across the country who've really done outstanding work in 5 categories. Those are learner voice, health and well-being, global citizenship education, third level access and engagement, and social inclusion. So on that day, all of those nominated initiatives will come to Croke Park to celebrate their achievement, and the winners of the awards will be announced. It is actually invitation only, but we'll announce everything on social media, so you'll be able to follow along on the day and see if initiative that you know has been nominated, or has won rather. So then moving on to the festival week itself, the really big part of the festival is around local organizations and groups organizing their own events. So this can be really anything that is reflective of the work that you do. And the only criteria that we have for an event to be part of the Adult Learners Festival are that it's free of charge, that it's relevant to adult education, that it's open to the public, and that it's happening from 6th to 10th March, approximately. If it's a few days before or after, that's absolutely fine. On open to the public, obviously, if you need to control registration, you can specify registration in advance through whatever system you have. And if you want to keep the location private and keep it only for registered attendees, that's absolutely fine as well. You just need to specify that. So these can really, as I say, be any kind of event that will just help people understand better what you do. So some ideas that people have done in the past have been things like organizing a walk and talk with learners, where you bring current learners and potential learners together, and providers as well, so you can hear about experiences and exchange opportunities. You could organize a coffee morning, bringing people together for an informal chat about what you do. You could organize a try something new taster session. So if you know, in your group, if you do a particular craft or if there's a particular activity that you can do, it's a great opportunity to invite people down to see what you're doing in person in an informal setting. Or you could give an information session or a workshop, depending on what you're doing there as well. So then your question is, how do we in AONTAS help? And there are a couple of ways that we can help you in the festival. We can send you a festival resource pack that will have posters, flyers, and buntings that you can put up around the location to promote the event. In that pack, we'll also include mugs, pens, and seed bombs, you know, those little flower seed bombs that you can put in and spread wildflowers somewhere. The idea there is to really encourage your creativity and, as you say, help you create your world. So plant the flowers, admire them, have a chat over a cup of tea, use the AONTAS pen to write down your ideas. But just really use the resources to kind of to celebrate the festival, and use the posters and the flyers to show people where it is on the day. For the first 50 groups that register, we will also have a €50 voucher, and you can use this if you need to buy resources for your event, or perhaps if it's a learner-centered event, you could use it as a raffle prize. It's really up to you. It's yours to use in support of the festival. So whatever event you're using, that little extra resource is there from us to support you to do that. And finally, you can share your event through our Adult Learners Festival website, which my colleague Juliana will talk you through shortly, on our social media, which Kate will talk about shortly, and also through press releases. So AONTAS have quite a wide reach through the traditional media as well as through social media. And last year's festival actually reached 2 million learners across newspapers, television, print, and social media. So it's a really good chance to use the power of the festival to amplify your own work. So this is the festival calendar. This is kind of one of the key points of the festival. The web address is adultlearnersfestival.ie. So if you note this down, you'll come to this screen and you'll see there's 3 links here: to submit an event, to view the festival calendar, and to learn more about the festival. Submit an event is where you would register the details of your event once you've decided what you're going to do. Juliana will take you through this in more detail now. But just to say that we'll ask you for your event details, your event type, your organizer type. If you want the free resources, that's the pack that I just mentioned. And also if you're an AONTAS member. You don't have to be an AONTAS member to be part of the festival. It's really for our information only. So I'm going to hand you over to Juliana now to take you through the website. And just to say, once we receive a submission on the website, we'll contact you if you need more details. We aim to review all the submissions within 2 working days. And then once we have them up there, your event will appear on the public searchable festival calendar. So Juliana, over to you.
Hi, can everyone hear me okay? Brilliant. I'm just going to share my screen real quick and walk everyone through our website. Is that coming up okay for everyone?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so when you go to adultlearnersfestival.ie, this is the homepage. And these are the links that Karis is telling you about. So this goes to our Twitter. This is a link to submit an event, but there's another way to find it. This is the calendar, and I'll also show you where else you can find it. And this leads you back to the AONTAS website. So if we go up here to the top toolbar and click on events, it's going to show you a quick calendar view of all the events that are already registered. So here's the top 3 examples. There's the Stepping Stones and Stable Roots AONTAS event, a Introduction to Flower Arranging, and Espresso Yourself Morning. So that's how your events will show up after you submit them. And they There's also, you can filter by keyword, filter by county. So if I wanted to see events in Dublin, it'll show up like that. If I want to filter by dates, these are the festival dates, the 6th and the 10th. So if I wanted to see if anything was happening on the 8th in Dublin, it comes up for this guided tour information session. So if you go into the event, it comes up with the picture, the location, and this description here. And on the left-hand side, you'll see the event type, its location, and whether you need to register beforehand, and also who to contact if you'd like more information. So this is how it will show up if you submit an event or if you're looking to register for an event. So if we go back to events listing, and in the top right-hand corner, there's this green button that says submit an event. So we're going to go into this. And this is the page that Karis has previously shown you. So you'll start by entering in your event title. And here's where you can attach an image for your event to make it pop and give people, to make it easier to find. But if you don't have an image, we'll supply one for you. Then you need to put in the date of the event, the start and the end time, and the venue. So this is really important. I understand that some people will disclose the event location to just registered participants. So if that's the case, you can always put in location provided to registered participants if you don't want to make it public. So then it'll go down to county, where your event's taking place, the event type. So these are the options that we have: a celebration, information session, lecture, open day, social gathering, taster session, walk, workshop, or other. And these are really important, though. There's a little asterisk beside each of them, so they need to be selected before you submit. And the organizer type, so I guess the category your organization falls into, whether it's an ETB, community education, higher education, DSP or employment, library, museum, partnerships, county council, or other. And here is really important. So this is the area where you'll put in details about your event. So we suggest putting in who it's for, what will happen, what will the attendees learn, so they get a better idea of if it's the right event for them. And so then the next option is who should attend this event. So either adult learners, adult learning staff or practitioners, the general public, policymakers, or other. And then here is prior booking required. So do participants need to register in advance? And then this information is for if they want to contact you about registering. So your name, email address, website, and phone number. And then here is where you can select if you'd like a resource pack from AONTAS. This information is just for us. It won't show up on the calendar. So here we have, do you want resources to promote your event? Are you an AONTAS member, or are you working in partnership with any organization? Then you just click submit your event at the bottom, and that's it. Does anyone have any questions? I hope I didn't go too fast. No, we're okay. I'll stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to pass back to Karis.
Thanks so much, Juliana. So that is, how the submission for an event happens. And as I say, once you've submitted your event, you have all your details. We will review it, and it will appear on the calendar, which Juliana showed you at the beginning. So people can filter by location, by area of interest, and they'll find your events there and be able to come along. So the other big way that AONTAS can support the festival, as we mentioned, is by sharing news about the festival. Social media is really a big part of the festival. So during the week, we share events, we share learner stories, and we share news from other organizations. So the easiest way to connect with us and to show us what you're doing is to use the festival hashtags. So these are Create Your World, which is the theme of the festival, ALF23, which is Adult Learners Festival 23, our own hashtag AONTAS, and then Star Awards 2023, which is for the Star Awards, obviously. So the biggest advantage of these is that people can click on the hashtags that you use, and they can see that you're part of a series of events, that you're part of a wider collective, not just a one-off. Audiences respond well to kind of fun, bright photos of people doing something, whether it's celebrating, learning a new craft, or meeting each other. So photos are a big part of it as well, obviously, as the text that you share. Once you have your own posts, you can tag us on our social media accounts. We are currently on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. If you're also on TikTok or Snapchat or whatever it is, you can also use the hashtags there. But I'm going to hand you over to Kate, who looks after the social media channels in AONTAS, and she'll be able to give you a little bit information about how this works. Thanks.
Hello. Yeah, so just very briefly, generally as a rule, when I'm usually the person behind the social media posts for me. Just if you're looking at our social media, that's usually me. So I usually just think of, I suppose, when I'm sharing something, what feeling I want to convey with the post. So often we will try and share pictures of people engaged in whatever form of learning you might be trying to promote. And it's usually a feeling of like belonging and togetherness and community, and a sense of fun maybe, and laughter, and particularly with the festival, because we want to kind of create that sense of a collective, and around the theme of the festival as well this year, which is create your world. So the idea that through learning you can create your own sort of circumstance, and obviously that completely varies and is very individual, and but I think a lot of the organizations that are involved with us and involved with adult learning really understand the importance of community and of people getting together, and that's the kind of thing that we try and share through our social media for the festival. So just to briefly share my screen, when we use the hashtags, this is for the Star Awards, for instance. Can everybody see that? Okay.
Yeah.
So it kind of creates a sense of like being part of something bigger. So like, for instance, last year, through using the Star Awards hashtag, we kind of, even though we were actually online last year, so it was very, very different world, but we created a sense of community and of people coming together and of celebrating all the amazing achievements that both providers and learners do all the time. So a big part of the festival is kind of really putting a spotlight on work that maybe doesn't get seen or observed otherwise, or that people are doing all the time. And we really want to try and showcase that and celebrate that. So through a hashtag like this, we can kind of bring people together, really. So, all the different organizations that might get involved, and we try and promote and raise awareness of the different work that's going on. So we'll be doing that as well across the week of the festival. So if you use the different hashtags, so it's the ALF23 hashtag, it's the Create Your World hashtag, and it's the Star Awards hashtag, then we'll try and share your posts and really try and I suppose elevate the work as much as possible. So that's the main thing of it. We share across Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Obviously, there's been a lot of changes with Twitter recently, so we're kind of using Instagram more and more, and Juliana does a lot of work on that. So we share stories now and kind of short little videos as well. So I'd be happy to follow up with anybody afterwards if anyone has any questions, or if you have any ideas or things that you might want to work together on, and you can always direct message me on social media. So I'll pass back to Karis now.
Thanks, Mel. Kate, yeah, that was really helpful, just to show how we kind of use the hashtags to amplify the work. So if you use those hashtags, we'll find what you're doing and we'll be able to share it with a wider audience as we go along. We also have some little graphics to help you do that, because obviously not everyone, Juliana is our graphic maestro who created this beautiful branding for the festival, but not everyone has a Juliana working in their organization. So we have some graphics that you can use on your own social media or on anything that you're producing, newsletters or the program that you make for an event, really anything at all. You can go to our website, to aontas.com/community/Adult Learners Festival. And if you look for this link, Event Toolkit, it will bring you to a place where you can download posters and graphics for all social media platforms. And the kind of the theme of the festival and the hashtag is there for you as well. So you can use that in your own posts or any kind of promotional items that you want to use that are related to the festival. And if there's anything else that you need in particular to help you support your events, please do get in touch and we'll do our best to provide it for you. There's a poster as well that you can download, so you don't need to wait for your resource pack. You can download the Adult Learners Festival and have it there already. So I hope that has showed you how the festival runs, what you can do to organise your own events, how the festival calendar works, and how we'll share it on social media. But obviously the festival is about everyone involved in adult education. So what we're going to do now is go into 2 breakout groups. Kate will be in one and I'll be in the other. And what we'd like to talk about is any ideas you have for events that you could host as part of the Adult Learners Festival. If there's any additional support you'd like to receive from AONTAS, and any questions you have about the festival. We'll take about 10 minutes to break into those groups, and then we'll come back into the one big group at the end, and we'll talk about any kind of key points that came up. Particularly if you've been involved in the festival before, you may have pointers that you'd like to share about what worked well. So we'll share those in the main group, and then we'll all go off and celebrate our Valentine's Days in our own ways. So Juliana is going to set up the breakout groups now, and we'll see you back in the main session in about 10 minutes or so. Hi all, you're very welcome back. I hope that was a useful conversation for everyone. We had a really interesting and very useful chat in our group, and lots of connections being made. Will we start off first? Were there any questions that came up in either group that we can help with?
In my group, Caris, it was mentioned that it would be helpful to have examples of events that were successful last year.
Okay.
So I was saying that we could have a look back through our database from last year and maybe share with people some examples of different kinds of events, or like different approaches to it that might interest different learners, and that might give people some ideas.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We can definitely do that. We had some discussion in our own group about what had worked well, and a couple of things that came up that might be useful to people were connecting them with other things. So for example, International Women's Day is on the 8th of March. So there's another way there to kind of create a theme around what you're doing and to get people involved. And we also talked about the importance of the fact that it gives people a way in the door, that sometimes people can be intimidated going to learn about a group that they've never been involved in before, or that, it's quite a big thing to walk into a group that you've never been there before. So the Adult Learners Festival is really a great way to get people involved. So I think some of the events that have been really successful in the past have been those ones that are very open and just give people a chance to really make that first step. But yeah, that's a brilliant idea. We'll definitely go through our archives, which is extensive at this point, with 17 years of festival behind us, and we can share some successful examples from the past for sure. Another thing that came up in our group was just, and I think it's worth emphasizing with everyone, is that it doesn't have to be a big spectacular event. The festival is really about showing what is already going on. So there's no need to look to create something that's very complex or that's very outside what you normally do. I think the best events are really ones that showcase what's already going on and just invite people in to be part of that world. So don't feel that it needs to be anything super complex or in any way difficult to organize. It's really just about getting people into what you're already doing. And I think another thing that came up in our own session was about the importance of encouraging people to return to learning, that it's also a really great opportunity to connect potential learners with current learners, because really people listen most attentively when they hear it from their peers. We can all say how great something is, but until you meet someone who's really been part of that, I think it doesn't connect with you in the same way. So it's a really good opportunity to be able to do that. I think those are the main points that came up in our group. And then there was some questions around, what exactly to put on the calendar if your event is part of a bigger series. So someone had an event that was, the Adult Learners Festival was part of an ongoing event. But if you really focus on one part of the event that people can come to and put that on the calendar, I think that will be the thing that will draw people in the door. So Kate, in your group, was there anything else that came up?
We just talked as well about, Nancy mentioned as well about interesting learners and the focus of different events and different activities coming from learners themselves, which obviously, you know, ties in with the idea of learner voice and of, you know, especially with community education, of it being led by learners. So I suppose another option could be to ask learners if there's anything that they would like, and if there's anyone, you know, that like if there's a learner in the group that's particularly keen or interested or available or has the time or, you know, the inclination, you could ask if they would like to get involved. That might be interesting as well.
Yeah, that's really central. That's a great idea. Absolutely. It is the Adult Learners Festival, so the learners should be at the center of it. Absolutely. So yeah, that's a really, really good point. Was there any other questions or any comments or anything anyone wanted to add? Enough. If you do think of anything, do get in touch with us at AONTAS. All of our contact details will be on the slides, so we'll send the slides out to you afterwards, and recording after I've tidied up the beginning, and you'll have all of that there that you can look back on. In the meantime, then, I would just be thinking about what you might organise. Have a look at the adultlearnersfestival.ie website and you know, kind of get comfortable with that form and submit an event when you're ready. And then your resource pack and your voucher, if you're in the first 50, which you probably will be if you're in this group today, will be sent out to you, and we aim to send those out all before the festival. And yeah, then just share on social media and we'll keep an eye. And I mean, from our group, certainly there was amazing plans in train, so we're really, really looking forward to seeing what happens. And if there's any questions or anything we can help you with, do just let us know.